The vampire in serial killer history. There have been known serial killers in history who derived pleasure from eating the flesh of their victims. An Italian woman, whose name was Leonarda Ciancoli, cooked her victims she ensnared and killed in her apartment and shared the food with guests she entertained in her house. Another serial killer, a gay man whose name was Jeffrey Dahmer, lured straight and gay men to his apartment to kill them and then cut up their bodies and store the parts in his refrigerator, consuming human flesh or cannibalism, something that is practiced by those who live in remote jungles such as the Koroway of Indonesia, is also appealing to some serial killers. There is one serial killer in history who ate a pregnant woman he murdered. The serial killer was Richard Trenton Chase. It was clear from the beginning of his life that something was wrong with him. He tortured animals and developed a morbid fascination for blood. He even went as far as injecting himself with rabbit's blood. Chase was a troubled child with a strict upbringing. His father beat him often. When he became a teenager, he experimented with drugs such as marijuana and LSD. It was common knowledge that although he dated girls when he was a teenager, he couldn't keep a relationship or go steady with a girl because of his inability to become aroused with the female body. A drug addict, and it resulted in him having an anxiety problem called hypochondria. The condition made him think crazy thoughts. He believed and told doctors that his pulmonary artery had been stolen, that his heart would stop beating, and that his blood was becoming powder. Chase lived in an apartment when he was 21 years old, but his roommates had problems with his attitude, so he was evicted from the house. He ended up returning to their old house and living with his father. He then became reclusive over time. The would-be serial killer also did weird things while living as a recluse, including smearing his face with blood and eating the raw meat of animals he killed. Richard Chase's condition did not improve, and in 1975, he was committed to a mental institution after an incident that involved him injecting rabbit's blood into his veins. After a while of being in confinement, he escaped and hid in his mother's house. His freedom did not last long, however, and he soon found himself locked up again in the mental institution. Richard Chase was often referred to as Dracula by the staff members of the institution. Chase was released in 1976 after a series of treatments. He lived again with his mother, who finally allowed him to discontinue taking antischizophrenic medication he was prescribed. His parents then decided to get him an apartment. The madman's condition, however, continued to worsen, and he still had a thirst for animal blood, so he continued to kill animals, including dogs and cats. He also did some really strange things while suffering from his condition. One of them was showing up in unexpected places. He was once found in a remote area drenched in blood, which he claimed was his own blood. He also claimed that the blood actually seeped out of his body. It's as if he never really recovered from that, which was eating away at him. On December 29, 1977, Chase carried a .22 handgun and fired a shot into one of the houses in Sacramento. Luckily, no one was hurt, but 2 days after that incident, Richard Chase actually did kill a person. His first victim was Ambrose Griffin. He shot the 51-year-old man with the .22 handgun he used in firing a bullet in one of the houses in Sacramento. Just 2 days before that day, on January 22, 1978, he killed a pregnant woman named Teresa Wallen and her unborn child. And, on January 22, 1978, Richard Chase killed 4 more people. The victims were Evelyn Miroth, Dan Meredith, Jason Miroth, and David Ferreira. Richard Trenton Chase, the serial killer who was emotionally disturbed, eventually succumbed to vampirism and cannibalism. as he was unable to come to terms with something that was eating away at him as a consequence of his own craziness. Chase was imprisoned for 6 counts of murder. He died in his prison cell on December 26, 1980. Reincarnation and cannibalism in the jungle of Guinea. The Korowai tribe of Guinea. It was only in the 70s when the tribe was discovered by outsiders. Korowai have already been assimilated to Indonesia's society outside their own, a society that was once unknown to them. What is curious about the Korowai people is their way of life. They are hunters and gatherers. They are also nomadic people. They have the freedom to roam the jungle of Guinea, Indonesia, to find the next settlement with access to resources they need to survive. There are Korowai, who have already become part of the modern society of Guinea. However, there are still Korowai these days who have chosen to remain isolated from the rest of the world, and who are still living a nomadic life in the jungle. The Korowai who in the jungle rely on nature for nourishment. They make bread out of the bark of sago trees and hunt pigs and cassowaries, birds that are endemic to Indonesia. Deep in the jungle of Guinea, Korowai maintain traditions and beliefs. They believe in all sorts of things. Central among them is the belief in reincarnation. Korowai who die are to return as a human infant or animal. They have believed in reincarnation since the time of their ancestors. The Korowai also believe in demons, and the power of demons to kill a member of the tribe with sickness. The strangest thing in the tradition of Korowai, however, is the explicit acceptance of cannibalism as a way of life. The Korowai are true cannibals. Korowai kill and eat humans for a number of reasons. Evil magic is feared among the Korowai, and any member of the tribe who is suspected of practicing evil magic is killed, and his or her body is eaten. The death of a member of the tribe among the Korowai can be attributed to evil magic, and the Korowai believe that somebody is responsible for this evil magic, and that somebody is possessed. Korowai do not just banish a member of the tribe, who they suspect to have killed someone with magic. However, they kill the person, and they consume his or her flesh to make sure that whatever evil the person brought to the tribe does not transfer to another Korowai. Anyone can be suspected of performing evil magic that is lethal to its recipient. It is clear to the Korowai what they need to do when confronted with this big problem. They need to kill the culprit and consume his or her flesh. It does not matter if the person who is found guilty of killing someone with magic is only a 3-year-old boy. It is clear that someone as young as 3 years old can still be killed and eaten if found guilty. There is really a life similar to living in hell on this planet.